So this is lesson 6 of module 2, expressing repeating decimals as fractions. We are going to take what we know about place value with decimals and using those to help us figure out how to write not only numbers as fractions, but numbers that are repeating decimals, how you write repeating decimals as fractions. So starting off simple, for the first one, you have W is equal to 0 and 4/10. So for this one here, I'm writing it in word form, 4/10, and then as its fraction is 4/10. For the next one, 44 hundredths. So we know that out of 100, 44 hundredths would be 44 over 100. And then for the next one, 444 thousandths, we would write as 444 thousandths in our short word form, and then as a fraction would be 444 over 1,000. So we are going to take what we know about place value and powers of 10, out of 10, out of 100, and out of 1,000, using those to write numbers repeating decimals, how you write repeating decimals as fractions. So for the fourth one, we had z is equal to 0 and 4/10 repeating. For this one, because the tenths is repeating, or the 4 is repeating, this means that it goes on forever. So we don't really have a power of 10 that we can use as our denominator for this one, as we would do for the previous three. So we actually have to figure out what the denominator is going to be instead as a fraction, so that when we convert it to its decimal, it looks like 4 repeating. So for this first one, since we have 0 and 4/10, we are going to say that x is equal to 0 and 4/10 repeating. So since we've got 0 and 4/10 repeating, we are going to say that x, or 1x, is equal to 0 and 4/10 repeating. Now, since this is in the tenths place, what we are going to use to help us start visualizing how to write this as a fraction, we are actually going to multiply both parts of our expression. We're going to multiply them by 10. So since this is in the tenths place, we are going to multiply by 10. So the x that we have is going to be 10 times x, and the 4/10 repeating that we have is going to be 4/10 repeating times 10. Now, the way this looks after we've multiplied by 10 on both sides, 10 times x now gives us 10x, and 4/10 repeating now gives us 4 and 4/10 repeating. So we have just moved our decimal one place to our right, and as we've moved it one place to our left, and as we've moved, we just have another 4/10 repeating in its place. So now it looks like 4 and 4/10 repeating, because we still want to have that 4/10. So this is us moving our decimal. So from here, our next part that we are going to do is subtract our 1x from both sides. So on this side, we have 10x minus 1x, and we are going to do, if we're keeping our equation balanced, if I do 10x minus 1x on one side, I'm going to do 10x minus 1x on the other side. So you remember we said that 10x was equal to 4 and 4/10 repeating. So this 10x that I have on this side is the same as this 4 and 4/10 on this side, okay? And now I have my minus 1x, which, remember, we said 1x was going to be equal to 0 and 4/10 repeating. So this minus 1x is going to be minus our 0 and 4/10 repeating. Now for the first side, 10x minus 1x is going to leave us with 9x, and the 4/10 repeating minus the 4 and 4/10 repeating minus 4/10 is going to leave us with 4. So we have 9x is equal to 4, and we are going to divide by 9 on both sides so that we can get x by itself. And when we have x by itself, it is going to give us x is equal to 4/9. So this is an example of when we have a number just in the tenths repeating. For the next one, doing the same thing. So I have 1/10 repeating, or 1x is equal to 1/10 repeating. So since this is a number that is just in the tenths place, similar to what we did with number 5, we are going to rewrite by multiplying by 10. So 10 times x and 1/10 repeating times 10. So multiplying by 10 on both sides. Again, when we do 10 times x, we get 10x. And when we do 1/10 repeating times 10, we now have 1 and 1/10 repeating. So again, we've moved our decimal one place, or we've shifted our numbers one place to the left, and this is what it looks like now. Now, since we can't go out of 10 since it's repeating, subtracting 1x from both sides, just like we did with the previous one. So 10x minus 1x is going to be equal to, all we're doing on this side is substituting. So if I know 10x is on this side, and I've got 10x is equal to 1 and 1/10 repeating, that's what I have here. And for this part here where I have minus 1x, remember we said 1x is equal to 1/10 repeating, so this is going to be minus 1/10 repeating. So again, I'm just substituting what I know for my values, substituting them into my equation. So from here on this side, 10x minus 1x is equal to 9x, and the 1 and 1/10 repeating minus 1/10 repeating leaves us with 1. Now we have 9x is equal to 1. We want to figure out what x is by itself, so we are going to divide by 9 on both sides. And when we divide by 9 on both sides, we get x is equal to 1/9. Going on to our next one, for number 7, we have 0 and 7/10 repeating. So we are going to set our 1x to be equal to 0 and 7/10 repeating. This is another one that is in the 10ths place. So since it's in the 10ths place, we are going to multiply both sides by 10. So we have 10 times x and 0 and 7/10 repeating times 10, multiplying by 10 on both sides. So we have 10 times x is 10x, and 0 and 7/10 times 10 repeating is now going to be 7 and 7/10 repeating. From here, since we can't work out of 10, since this is a repeating, it's not a finite or terminating decimal, we're going to do 10x minus 1x on this side. And remember, we're substituting, so 10x was equal to 7 and 7/10 repeating. So that's what I have on this side. And minus 1x, our 1x was equal to 0 and 7/10 repeating. Subtracting by 0 and 7/10 repeating on this side. The 10x minus 1x leaves us with 9x, and the 7 and 7/10 repeating minus 0 and 7/10 leaves us with 7. So we want to get x by itself. We divide by 9 on both sides, and we are left with x is equal to 7/9. For number 8 is slightly different because our repeating decimal that we have is 81 hundredths. So when we had tenths, we multiplied by 10. So since we have 81 hundredths, we're going to multiply by 100 for this one. So the same process still applies, multiplying by 100 on both sides. And 100 times x leaves us with 100x. And 81 hundredths repeating times 100 is going to leave us with 81 and 81 hundredths repeating. So again, we're just shifting everything to our left. And from here, we are going to do the subtraction the exact same way. So this is going to be 100x minus 1x, still only subtracting by 1 because we're trying to get 1 less than whatever our power of 10 is. And then we have 81 and 81 hundredths repeating. We're going to subtract 1x, which is the 81 hundredths repeating. And when we subtract, we are left with 99x is equal to 81, dividing by 99 on both sides, and we have x is equal to 81 over 99. And that was one example where we had out of the hundredths. For our next one, we have out of the thousandths. So since 132 thousandths, we are going to do times 1,000 on each side. And then from here, we have 1000x is equal to 132 and 132 thousandths repeating. Still going to subtract by 1x on both sides. And when we subtract, we are left with 999x is equal to 132. Dividing by 999 on both sides, x is going to be equal to 132 and 132 over 999. And for the last one, number 10, this is 26. Even though it's 26, it's not 26 hundredths, it's 26 thousandths because we have 3 decimal places. So our power of 10 for this one is still going to be out of 1,000. And for our 1x, it is going to be equal to the 26 thousandths repeating. So since it's out of 1,000, we are going to multiply by 1,000 on both sides. This is what it looks like when we have shifted everything to the left by 3 decimal places, since it's out of 1,000. And we are going to subtract by 1x from both sides. When we subtract by 1x on both sides, we are left with 999x is equal to 26. Dividing by 999 on both sides, We are then left with 26 over 999. These are all of the examples that we are going to do. We are actually going to skip 11 and 12, but on your own, you are going to do these 3 examples here and putting these in your notes. So on this page, or yeah, we'll do on this page. So you have one example, 22 hundredths. So you know for this one, you're going to have to multiply each side by 100. For your second one, you have 315 thousandths. So you know that you're going to have to multiply each side by 1,000. And for our last one, 8/10ths repeating, you're going to multiply everything by 10. So remember, whatever your place value is, that is going to be the power of 10 that you multiply, still subtracting 1, and then from there, solving to get what your repeating decimal is going to be as a fraction. And this concludes lesson 6 of Module 2.